UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov, full card prediction. We got a great UFC Fight Night on our hands. A lot of people saying it's better than the card following it in UFC 312, which I'm kind of on the fence about. Of course, 2 title fights on the 312 card, none here. It's iffy, but of course, you look at the prelims of this card. You got Gaziev, who's a ranked heavyweight. You got Ziam, Mike Davis, both guys chopping at the bit to get a top 15 shot. You got ranked women's flyweights. You got Bogdan, Lucas Alexander, which is a banger. Terrance McKinney on the prelims. He's always in a war. And then, of course, Pavlovich versus Jersey. This is just a great card. But gotta preface this first. If you are watching earlier on in the week, Andre Muniz, Ikram Alaskarov just got canceled. I was about to go in and recording this video, and I saw a notification Andre Muniz is having like travel issues. So he's not even going to be able to get to Saudi Arabia to actually fight Ikram. They're going to be postponing it. I didn't think they said what card. Obviously not UFC 312. So likely a February or March, UFC Fight Night situation. I doubt they postpone it to UFC 313. So probably a fight night in the meantime later on in February. But it's still a great fight. Ikram versus Andre Muniz. But it's not going to be on this card. So that leaves 12 fights for UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov. I would have to say with that UFC 312 is going to be slightly better. But still, for a fight night, this is absolutely amazing. But first, if you do want to become a member to the channel, we do have 4 big perks here. Of course, all of my MMA bets, my money lines, my parlays, my prop bets for UFC, for Bellator, for PFL, for whatever I'm betting on in MMA. That's the first, good thing about this membership. And we have a full ranking system. And I'm not talking top 15 like the UFC has. I am ranking all like 120 bantamweights, featherweights, middleweights, lightweights, whatever. I'm ranking every UFC fighter on these rankings, and I'm updating them after every single card. So every Saturday, you're going to get new rankings here. So that's a cool little perk of here. List the best future UFC contenders outside the UFC. So I'm not kidding when I say this. I have about 30 pages, 30 Google documents just like this about the absolute best fighters outside of the UFC, ranked from all the undefeated guys, the guys with 1 loss, 2 losses, and just amazing prospects to watch. And if you have any questions on how to watch these guys, I can help you with that as well with this membership. And last but not least, this is a cool one. I really like this perk, is all of my inside scoops on big UFC fight announcements and small UFC fight announcements. So you might be wondering, when is Miesha Tate fighting? I already know. What is today's date? January 25th. I already know when and who Miesha Tate is fighting next. And I know a lot of other big fights. The Marvin Vettori-Roman Dolidze fight I knew about a week before. There's a lot of cool fights that you guys can learn about days and weeks in advance. I already know UFC 314's main event. I know UFC 315's main event. So you guys can go check that one out as well. 33 cents a day for the entire membership, including all 4 of these great perks. So if you want to check that one out, the link is in that pinned comment or the top link in the description. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram, Bert_MMA, if you have any questions at all about this membership. But let's get into the full card prediction, because this is a really freaking good card. UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov. The main event is amazing, but let's go to the prelims as well. We do have, in the first fight of the night in the lightweight division, Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady versus Bolaji Oki. I will preface, short notice fight. Bolaji Oki is stepping in for Jordan Levitt. Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. I was originally going Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady to win that fight. And I would have said 30-27. I'll be straight up with you. I think Kareem just has the takedown defense to keep that one on the feet and outstrike Jordan for 3 straight rounds. This is a different fight. It's a little bit, Bolaji is not going to go out there wrestling and grappling. He's got decent striking, and he's coming off a submission loss. So he doesn't want anything to do with getting this fight to the ground on a guy like Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. So I think this one is definitely a bigger difference than the Jordan Levitt fight. Abdul is going to be coming forward. He's going to be a little bit shorter, a little bit less in reach, so he's got to come forward and close that distance on Bolaji Oki to land his combinations. He does happen to mix in takedowns every now and then. He's not grinding you out for 30-27 Dagestani wrestling UFC fight, but he'll mix in the takedowns here and there. And that is kind of the thing where I'm leaning Abdul is Bolaji's got good striking. He's tall, he's lengthy, 5'10" for the weight class, has a few knockouts on his record. Outstruck Timmy Kwamba in his UFC debut, got a knockout on the Contender Series. He's got good striking. I just think you kind of see those fights where you have one guy that's just barely a better striker, which in this case, Bolaji is just barely a better striker than Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. When you have Abdul, who's not as good of a striker, still coming forward, putting on that pressure, and then mixing in takedowns, mixing in feints, the Merab Dvalishvili effect where you're constantly worrying, so you're getting hit more. You're constantly worrying about the takedowns, so your striking suffers. That's kind of what I see here. Do I think it's going to be a full striking fight? No. There's going to be wrestling mixed in. Do I think it's going to be a full wrestling fight? No. It's going to be a complete mixed martial arts affair. I don't expect a submission. That's the least likely thing here, even though Bolaji is coming off a submission loss. I think it's going to be either a knockout, as Bolaji counters Abdul in the come-up while he's coming in, or Abdul just mixes in those takedowns, out-wrestles, out-grapples, and uses those wrestling attacks to outstrike Bolaji as well. So, no 30-27. It's going to be a close 29-28 decision for Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. If Bolaji catches him coming in, I wouldn't be surprised. He's coming off a knockout loss to Loic in a fight he could argue he was winning, but he came in a little bit too hard and got countered. So, good path to victory for Bolaji Oki. I do want to check out the odds here because I think Abdul is an underdog. I could be wrong. Yeah, plus 133. So you're getting plus money on Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. He's the underdog on Tapology and the underdog on the betting odds. So I actually do believe there's value here. I mean, again, Oki's coming in on short notice. We don't know how his cardio is going to do with wrestling mixed in as well. It's a lot of unknowns for Oki. And even without the short notice, I go Selwady. Making it short notice, I'm even more going to be like, I'm going to go Selwady to win. Am I confident? No. But as an underdog, some good value there. I got Abdul by a decision. Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Jamal Pogues in the heavyweight division. This is, lower level heavyweight MMA, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. Don't bet on this. Don't bet on this fight. I will say it right now. Jamal got taken down a few times by Thomas Peterson. He doesn't have, amazing wrestling. It's okay. It's not amazing. He's going against Hamdy Abdelwahab, who I believe either a world wrestler, a world championship wrestler, or an Olympic wrestler is Hamdy Abdul-Wahab. He's used it a little bit in his MMA career, of course, with some ground and pound TKOs and things like that. But he's not one to go out there and Khabib the game plan and just completely attack with wrestling and wrestling. He was striking for a lot of the fight with Dante Mays, and this fight could come down to fight IQ. I'll be straight up with you. If Hamdy goes out there and does implement the Olympic wrestling strategy, which should be the game plan against a guy like Jamal Pogues, I'll go Hamdy Abdul-Wahab to win. Because I've seen Jamal get taken down by Thomas Peterson, who's not as good of a wrestler as Hamdy Abdul-Wahab. But if Jamal is just able to make this a really boring fight, defend the takedowns, just stay on the outside, not get into that close distance with Hamdy, and he's just able to strike with Hamdy at range, use his 4-inch reach advantage and strike, well, then Jamal's going to win. So, it's one of those I can't be like, oh, for sure, this is why I think this guy's going to win, because as soon as I say that, there's a very, very good likelihood whatever I say about one guy could completely be diminished by their game plan and fight IQ. So if Hamdy goes out there and wrestles, he's going to win. If Jamal Pogues goes out there and just makes it really, really boring, is able to defend and keep it at range, make it boring, and make it a kind of point striking match in the heavyweight division, he probably wins. He probably wins the fight. It's a weird one. Don't bet on this. Come on. I believe even money, right? Yeah, minus 110. You're giving away 10% in value on this either way. And I do believe it is a 50-50 fight. Don't bet on it. Just don't do it. Do I got to do a prediction? I don't want to. I'm going to go Hamdy Abdul-Wahab. 29-28 split decision. People will be crying robbery and saying it's just because Hamdy's from Egypt and they're trying to give a guy from that sort of region the win. I don't know. It's a close one. I could literally give you an argument for both guys, and easily see that outcome happen, but I could totally easily see the outcome that I say being completely wrong just based on some slight things each guy does. It's a close one. Please don't bet on this. Hamdy by split decision. Bogdan, Grad, and Lucas Alexander in the featherweight division. It's a weird one. I will completely preface this before giving my prediction, my breakdown, and all that. Lucas hasn't fought in like a year. His last fight was Jasudavicius, and I think it was sort of short notice because he was supposed to fight David Onama on November 4th. That fight got canceled. I believe Onama pulled out due to injury. That's what it says. Then he accepted a fight with a completely different opponent and got knocked out by Jasudavicius. That was November 2023, and it's now, what would this be? Freaking 14 months later? He's fighting Bogdan Grad, so I don't know what he's been doing in the time off. I don't know if he's been injured. I don't know if UFC is not offering him any fights or anything like that. I don't know if his striking is improved, his wrestling is improved, so it's a hard one to just go off the last fight, because last fight he just got knocked out by really a not UFC caliber guy in a kind of fluke situation. Joe Anderson Brito's his other loss, and he completely outstruck Steven Peterson for the win. But again, these are long times. These are years ago. Bogdan Grad, on the other hand, just fought. He was just on the Contender Series, got a win over Michael Aswell. It's the second time on the Contender Series after losing a lightweight. Tom Nolan by knockout. He moved to his more natural weight class of 145 pounds and beat Michael Aswell. I thought he lost. I thought Michael should be in the UFC. They gave it to they gave it to Bogdan Grad in a very close decision. He ate punches, he landed punches, he pressured, he made it a dog fight. And I do believe that could happen here with Lucas Alexander, Bogdan Grad, and that's what Grad needs to do, but he's got to do it cautiously, because Lucas has countering ability. He's got good striking. He's taller, he's lengthier, so he could counter Bogdan Grad as he comes in. Bogdan, it really comes down to, can he, not get clipped with that big shot? Because he's been knocked out before. Tom Nolan knocked him out. His other loss to Andre Carraus was a decision. So he's only been knocked out one time, but it shows he's, able to get knocked out. And he's showing more willingness to come forward. That worries me because he's just eating shots a lot nowadays, and maybe he's got a great chin at featherweight. Maybe it's gonna bite him in the ass during this fight, where he's just gonna be walking forward and gets knocked out. I could totally see that path to victory for Lucas, standing the outside, having Bogdan come to him and countering him with a knockout shot. I think Bogdan is not gonna get knocked out here. I think it's a possibility, but it's not gonna be my prediction. I think Bogdan's gonna kick at range for a little bit, and every now and then try to close that distance, get inside, and make it a little bit scruffy. Get a little clinch situation, mix in some takedowns and things like that, because he is the better wrestler than Lucas Alexander, and use those to get inside and land punches. I think the wrestling is going to be a key path to victory here for Bogdan. I don't think he's going to get a lot of takedowns to control it, but he's going to use those to better the boxing and to close that distance and land the punches. I don't think this is going to be a domination. I think this is going to be a war, just like the Contender Series fight. Lucas is going to be trying to counter, my total opinion there. He could definitely knock out Bogdan coming in. Don't think it happens. I think Bogdan will be able to close that distance using some wrestling, getting inside of that boxing range and landing good punches. I got 29-28 decision. Bogdan, he's got power, yes. Lucas has been knocked out in his last fight, yes. But a lot of the knockout wins from Bogdan are not with his hands. Flying knee, Brendan Moreno. Tudor Dormenji, spinning wheel kick. Ground and pound. He's not knocking you out on the feet. So I do believe he's not going to get knocked out here. I think if there is a finish, it'll be Lucas Alexander countering Bogdan. So if Bogdan wins, I think it's going to be a decision. I think he's going to mix in some takedowns, close that distance a lot, and land boxing combinations. I got Bogdan Grad. Is he an underdog? I feel like he is. Oh, it's a 50-50 pick'em fight in the featherweight division. Was he ever an underdog? Nope, he was never an underdog. I'm sad. I thought I was picking another underdog here, but I got Bogdan Grad as the slight favorite, winning by a unanimous decision. Jasmine Jasudavicius, my favorite UFC flyweight, taking on the former title challenger Mayra Bueno Silva, who has only lost 2 top 5 UFC bantamweight, Macy Chiasson, champ, or former champ, I forgot, she got robbed by Juliana Pena, former champ, Raquel Pennington, future champ, Manon Fiorot, and then Marina Moroz. That's a weird one. I don't know how she lost to Marina Moroz, of all people, but she was doing pretty good in bantamweight until her loss. Of course, to Raquel Pennington, where she gassed out. This is 3 rounds. She's not going to really have that extra rounds to gas out, is kind of what I'm trying to say there, which Jasmine does put on a pace, which, you know, if this was 5 rounds, I'd be so confident in Jasmine Jasudavicius. It is only 3 rounds, so there's more room for Mayra Bueno Silva to, you know, win round 1 and then empty her gas tank in round 2 and barely squeak by a win, which is why don't bet Jasmine. Some good plus money odds on Mayra Bueno Silva to barely win this fight on the scorecards. I don't think she's going to submit Jasmine, but there's a good possibility Mayra could empty her gas tank in the early rounds, round 1, round 2, with the wrestling, with the grappling, and win this fight. Use what Tracy Cortez did and win the fight on the ground. I do believe Jasmine Jasudavicius will defend the takedowns in round number 2. I'm just saying that's a path to victory for Mayra to win those early rounds. I think Jasmine defends in round 2. I think she loses round 1. Mayra will win round 1, in my opinion. And then in round 2, round number 3, Jasmine defends and starts to land volume and starts to wear on Mayra Bueno Silva. Again, it's not a 5-round fight, so she's not going to gas badly. But Jasmine is still going to land more volume, land more punches, defend those takedowns late. And I do believe Jasmine wins this fight in a very close one. Can she finish Mayra? Yeah, it's possible, but, you know, Raquel didn't do it. Macy Chiasson only did it due to the doctor stoppage. I don't think there's going to be a finish here. Jasmine by unanimous decision. Fares Ziam and Mike Davis in the UFC lightweight division. Winner here, you know, probably going to get inside of that top 15 in 2025. They're probably going to get a shot. I guarantee. I keep saying probably, but I guarantee you. They're both on 4-fight win streaks. Of course, Mike's started 5 years ago, so, you know, not a lot of wins recently, but he's coming off a great win, submission win over Natan Levy recently, which is solid. I do believe that is a possible path to victory, as Fares' last loss was a submission, but Fares' takedown defense has been looking a lot better recently. His wrestling has been looking a lot better. His grappling's been looking a lot better. So I think this is going to be a striking fight with Mike Davis and Fares Ziam. Mike is a better boxer if he gets in a boxing range, but that's the thing. Can he get in there? He's got more power than Fares Ziam. He's got better boxing than Fares Ziam. Fares is taller. He's longer. He's lengthier. He's able to keep a fight at range and just jab, 1, 2. And then whenever the fight gets to the clinch, elbows and knees. Elbows and knees, elbows and knees. So Mike wants to get into that close boxing range to land the punches, which he is going to have the advantage there, but he doesn't want to get so far into where Fares is able to clinch. That's where I think Fares wins. He's going to win at range, barely outstriking Mike Davis with the volume, the jabs, the 1-2s, the kicks at range. Mike's going to close the distance, land some good shots, but get clinched up with Fares Ziam, and that's where Fares is going to capitalize with the knees and elbows and, you know, work Mike Davis with the clinch. Am I confident in that? No. Mike could easily have a great game plan of getting out of those clinch situations as fast as possible and win the fight. Totally a possibility. I'm not confident in Fares Ziam. I think it's a pick'em in the UFC lightweight division. But come on, 3-1. Mike Davis is the favorite is insane to me for this fight. I'm going to go Fares Ziam 29-28 split decision. I think this is a very flip a coin type of fight in the lightweight division. Again, I'll give the advantages. Mike Davis got power. Mike Davis got boxing. Probably has a little bit better wrestling and grappling, but not enough to really make an impact in this fight. Fares has the volume advantage. He's got the height, the length, and he's got the clinch advantage. He's got the knees. He's got the elbows, as we saw in the last fight. Very close fight. I got Fares Ziam split decision, but a very close fight. Terrance McKinney, Damir Hadzovic in the UFC lightweight division. I'm going to say it right now. Should you ever be betting Terrance McKinney as a big favorite? Probably not. Probably not. He could go out there and dominate Damir Ismagulov. I'm just kidding. That's the other lightweight. Damir Hadzovic in round number 1, and Damir could barely survive. And then maybe Terrance gasses and loses the later round. We can never take that risk betting on such a big favorite in Terrance McKinney because he's been a massive favorite in so many of his fights. shown like he is that massive favorite in the opening minutes, and then it goes a little bit downhill after that. So you can never be too sure with a guy like Terrance McKinney. Am I gonna go Terrance? I'm gonna go Terrance. Again, I'm giving you that information beforehand, just so you don't parlay Terrance with $1,000 and a 10-leg parlay, and Terrance is the only one that loses. Just be safe with this fight. I am gonna go Terrance to win the fight. I don't think it's gonna be with strikes necessarily. I think it's gonna be with wrestling and grappling. A lot of people underestimate Terrance's ground game because, he's 5-4 in the UFC. Knockout win, 20 seconds. Knockout win, a minute, 25 seconds. Knockout win against Matt Frivola in 7 seconds. He's got, 7 knockout wins on his record? But if you look, he's got more wins by submission, ladies and gentlemen. More wins by submission, and 2 of them for Ziam, who's also on this card, and then Eric Gonzalez. He's got good wrestling, he's got good back takes, and good rear naked choke. Damir Hadzovic has lost by submission to Renato Moicano. Yes, to Renato Moicano. But that's how I see this fight going. I think he'll strike with him for a little bit. I think Terrance will throw some big bombs and realize Damir is also a pretty good striker. And realize, where is Damir not good? Grappling, wrestling, ground game. Terrance is going to take him down. He's going to try landing some big punches to give Damir's going to try to give his back to get up. Terrance is going to get the back, get that rear naked in. Terrance McKinney, round 1, round 2, submission. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a close one. I'm just kidding. It's not going to be a close one. Either way, it's going to be, I don't know if you can count that as a close fight if it's a finish. But I don't know. I digress. I'm going to go Terrance McKinney by submission. Am I confident? Again, you can never be with Terrance McKinney. But I do have him by submission. Shamil Gaziev, Thomas Peterson in the heavyweight division. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Minus 390, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Thomas Peterson just outstruck Muhammad Usman for 3 rounds. Jamal Pogues fight wasn't a great look. Not a great look at all. Shamil's got good pressure, good power, as we saw in the Martin Buday fight. He's got good wrestling. Cardio. Thomas Peterson, cardio. His wrestling, not amazing, not great, but could possibly be good enough to defend here. And I'm just saying that just to kind of lead me to why I'm saying don't bet Shamil. Thomas Peterson, if he's able to defend the takedowns, which is very, very possible, very, very possible, as his wrestling game is his game plan most of the time. It's not going to be here, but his wrestling game is his game plan for the most part. And then, if he's able to defend, if he's able to win a striking fight, Shamil, amazing striking in round 1, like we saw in the Martin Buday fight. Pressure and volume and power. Fight gets to round 2, round 3, where again, the Jairzinho Rosenstruck type of fight starts to kick in, where he's gassing out a little bit, huffing and puffing, and Thomas is able to do what he did in the Usman fight. Just, make it a little bit boring and barely outstrike for the decision win. Possibility. Very good possibility. That could very well happen here. Do I think it does? No. Do I think the chances of it are more than 25%? Yes. Should you bet Shamil? No. Don't do it. Do I have Shamil winning? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do think he will land a takedown in the early rounds. But again, I'm just giving you the conversation that Thomas could defend here. It's possible. I think Shamil will land the takedown, will ground and pound, win round 1, win round 2, lose round 3. I'm going to go 29-28. I'm hoping for a finish, but Thomas has only been knocked out by Waldo Cortez Acosta, and that was on the feet. Shamil's not that guy. Thomas doesn't get finished on the ground. He's got good wrestling, good grappling. I think he stays on the feet for a little bit. In the later rounds, it's going to be more wrestling-based in the early rounds, and I think Thomas Peterson loses round 1, round 2, wins round 3, but didn't have that power to knock out Shamil. Didn't have the grappling and the submissions to submit Shamil. He's got okay grappling, but not enough to submit him. So, yeah, round 3, Thomas. Round 1, 2, Shamil. Shamil decision. Please be a finish. Please prove me wrong here. Shamil knock him out. Thomas submit him. I'm hoping for a finish. Because I predicted a lot of decisions. But I'm going to go Shamil by decision. Mohamed Naimov and Kaan Ofli in the featherweight division. I actually feel weirdly good about Muhammad Naimov here. Should I? No. Should not feel this good about Muhammad Naimov. I feel really good about him. He's been finished once. It was the Felipe Lima fight. That dude's a beast. That dude's a future top 15, top 10 type of guy. This is only loss. The other two were decisions earlier on in his career. Colin on the Contender Series 2020-2021. I thought he won the Oliver Murad fight. But after that, got on a win streak, joined the UFC, knocked out Jamie Mullarkey, barely beat Nathaniel Wood in a close one, then got the injury win. The Jamie Mullarkey fight is where I really got to take a look here, because he's easily going to be able to defend takedowns here. Kaan Ofli, he doesn't have anything on the feet. His game plan is to take you down, submit you. Take you down, grind you. Ground and pound you. That's his game plan. Naimov's not going to get out-wrestled and ground and pound and dominated or anything like that. But we saw in the Jamie Mullarkey fight, short notice, up a weight class, Naimov's got power. He's got boxing. He's got power. He's got boxing. He's got power. Kaan Ofli doesn't have boxing. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have really any kicks, head movement. Not really there for Kaan Ofli. Again, I feel weirdly, really good about Muhammad. He's taller, he's lengthier, he's better striking, he's got good wrestling, good grappling. I think that's like a perfect formula to beat Kaan Ofli. That's Myron Santos' formula. It wasn't that he had really good wrestling and grappling, but he had amazing takedown defense. Naimov doesn't have amazing takedown defense, but good wrestling, good grappling. Should be able to keep this fight on the feet. Kaan Ofli. I can't see him winning. He's not going to submit Naimov like Felipe Lima was able to do. Felipe is far superior in the wrestling department. Kaan Ofli might be close to Felipe Lima in terms of jiu-jitsu. But in wrestling, Kaan, I don't like his setups. His setups into the takedowns, I don't like him. I don't think he's going to be able to get in on the hips of Naimov for a double leg. It's not going to happen, I don't think. I got Naimov. Should I go knockout here? I'm going to go knockout. He just got knocked out. Naimov's got power. I'm going to go knockout. Muhammad Naimov, KO round number 2. Said Nurmagomedov taking on Vinicius Oliveira. Lock dog. 29, 32 years old. Height and reach very similar. Vinicius Oliveira. My. What an amazing performance in his last fight. Beat Ricky Simone unanimously, 30-27, I believe. Defended all takedowns, kept it on the feet, outstruck him, and won that fight. He's fighting in Nurmagomedov. What do you think the game plan is going to be? Take you down, wrestle you, submit you. Said doesn't actually do well with the submissions from the guard or the half guard or anything like that. He's a guillotine guy. Cody Stamann, I was shocked when he submitted Cody Stamann that fast. That was insane. Saidioku Kakramanov, that's an amazing win. I'm really high on Saidioku. I don't know why he's not in the UFC. Then he submitted Muin Gafarov, who we just saw do really good things in his last 2 fights. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Just beat Renya Nakamura. Very well. Impressive wins there. That was, a year, 2 months ago. He lost to Jonathan Martinez in a striking fight before that. Hasn't fought for a while. I don't know what he's been doing in the last year, 2 months. That's an unknown we have to take into consideration. His striking could be way improved. His wrestling could be way improved. I don't know. A year and 2 months is a long time. But I got to kind of focus in on this Jonathan Martinez fight, because Jonathan was able to defend a lot of the takedowns from Said Nurmagomedov, keep it on the feet, have Said come to him and counter him with kicks and punches, and just have him walk in a lot of shots. Vinicius is a far superior striker to Said Nurmagomedov. Do I think he's going to knock him out? No, because as soon as he clips Said's able to go in on a shot, slow it down with the wrestling and grappling. So, do I think there's a finish here? No, unfortunately. I'm waiting for a finish for Vinicius. It's been too long. The Bernardo Sopaj fight was amazing, but it was against a short notice guy. I got the Victor Madrigal fight. Not an amazing guy there, but I want a knockout from Vinicius. I want another knockout. Because if he gets a knockout, boom, he's a star in this bantamweight division. He's going to that top 15. If it's a decision, I don't know. Because Said could slow the fight down a lot with the wrestling and grappling. So this could be a boring fight. I'm expecting fun here, though. My prediction is fun. My prediction is Said's going to be jumping a lot of those gillies. He's going to be trying to get that submission. And Vinicius is constantly getting up from whatever takedowns may occur and just throwing bombs on Said. Throwing knees, elbows, spinning stuff. I got Vinicius Oliveira winning. He's a 2-1 dog. Should he be the underdog? Probably. Said's striking isn't horrendous. It's not like really, really bad. It's solid. It's not amazing, but it's solid. And of course, if there's any possible moment where Vinicius gets taken down, that could be a full round swung to Said Nurmagomedov. So am I confident on Vinicius? No. Said's got a great game plan, which is the one I'm about to say. I don't know if this is his game plan, but I'm assuming is to go out there, stay at range, make it a really, really slow fight for Vinicius. Eventually, Vinicius is going to try to get inside, throw some leather. That's when Said's going to try to clinch, get him to the cage, try to get him down, try to do with a marab, dump, and try to snatch the neck, guillotine Vinicius Oliveira. That'd be my game plan if I was Said. Try to get him to the clinch, try to dump Vinicius Oliveira. Vinicius is going to try to get back up. You're going to try to get that front headlock, turn it into a guillotine or a darce. That'd be my game plan if I'm Said. If I'm Vinicius, I'm moving. Staying in that center of the octagon, hands low for the takedown shots, and I'm outstriking Said for 3 rounds. I think that's what's going to happen. I think a round will go to Said with the wrestling. Don't think Said's going to be able to get the submission, because when you know a guy like Said's going for that submission over and over and over again, you know it's coming. It's a lot easier to defend. You're practicing it every day in the training room. I think this fight goes to a decision. I got Vinicius Oliveira, 29-28. Could be split. It's Said in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I'm just talking now. Video's over. Vinicius Oliveira by decision. Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Sergei Pavlovich in the heavyweight division. Age, Sergei. Height, Sergei. Reach, Sergei. Power, Sergei. Technique, skill, Jairzinho. Volume, Jairzinho. Power, I think I already said that. Pavlovich. Wrestling, nah. No wrestling. No wrestling, brother. I know he's Russian, but no wrestling, brother. It's going to be a striking match. It's literally, I'm going to say it right now. It's literally, can Sergei close the distance? Land big shot on Biggie Boy. If so, Sergei knockout. If no, Jairzinho decision. Again, can Sergei close distance? Can Jairzinho stay away from big punch and counter Sergei for 3 rounds? It's one or the other. It's literally one or the other. It's a simple breakdown. Jairzinho is far better with the kicks. He's far better with the technique and movement. Sergei is far better when he's inside and able to throw leather. Because you're not able to get to his chin, but he's able to get to yours with that significant reach advantage. But if Jairzinho stays out of that and just kicks at range, has Sergei come into him, punches and moves, well, Jairzinho is going to win the fight. It's a close one, though, because, of course, we've seen Jairzinho get knocked out. Gilton submitted him, yes. Volkov knocked him out in a round. Ngannou knocked him out in a round. When you're able to get that close distance on him, Volkov got his back to the cage and was just able to throw. But it was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, if you want to be more accurate there. But, Shamil's not going to be able to do that because he's slow. Tai Tuivasa not going to be able to do that. Again, he's kind of slow. Chris Dawkins wasn't really able to do that because he just got knocked out pretty fast. Can Sergei do it? Can he get his back to the cage and jab, and walk him right into a big shot? Which is kind of his game plan for a lot of his fights. I think so. I do believe so. I think Sergei Pavlovich, I don't think it'll be in round 1 like a lot of people are saying. Oh, Curtis. He knocked out Curtis Blades in round 1. He knocked out all these dudes in round 1. 3 minutes, 54 seconds, 55 seconds, 4 minutes, 2:11, 106. I think it's going to be round 2. I think this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. I think people are going to be like, oh no, Jairzinho's about to do exactly what Volkov did. And then round 2, after Pavlovich gathers the data, finds a way to get in on Rozenstruik, I think he's gonna. Am I going to bet him? No. No, I'm not. Probably going to bet Rosenstruck decision, let's be honest. But I'm going to go Pavlovich knockout. It's a close one. There's a lot of close fights on this card. I got Pavlovich knockout. Round 2. Don't bet on Sergei. Don't do it. Michael Page, Shara Bullet in the middleweight division. Obviously a welterweight moving up. This is interesting. Shara is almost a 2-1 favorite over Michael Venom Page. Tapology pretty 50-50. Height, reach, going Michael Page. Speed, going Michael Page. Experience, going Michael Page. Youth, going Shara Bullet. Does Page look young? Yeah. He fights young. So I don't think age really is that big. But size, he's a middleweight. Page is a welterweight. We got to take that into account. Maybe the power difference is going to be different from Shara and Michael Page. Obviously, Shara's got great kicks. Shara's got great spins. Page has great speed and great punches. So this is going to be one of those fights where, we're not going to know who's going to win the fight, even while the fight's happening. Round 3 will start, and we still won't know who's going to win this fight. I'll be straight up with you guys. I'll be straight up. Because there's going to be a lot of flashiness, a lot of speed, a lot of quick, type stuff from Michael Venom Page. There's going to be a lot of goofiness, and it might look goofy, but some of it's going to land. We've seen the double spinning back fist. We've seen the elbows from the bottom position. There's not going to be any wrestling here, but I'm just saying, it's going to be really, really interesting. Again, couple that with the height and reach advantage for Michael Page. Makes you think. But, again, size. Shara Bullet's bigger. Maybe Page is winning all of the rounds, but Shara's able to land up the heavier shots. Page is able to out-volume him, get inside, but he gets inside one time, and Shara is the bigger guy, able to land on the smaller guy, and it looks like he's landing the more effective shots. There's all of those little things you got to take into account with this type of fight. I'm going to go Page just due to the volume. I don't think it's going to be a knockout. He's not going to knock him out. Page isn't really a knockout type of guy. He's got a few, obviously, in Bellator against lower level guys, of course. But there's not going to be a knockout here. This fight's going to go to a decision. It's going to be a fun, whoa type of fight where a lot of craziness is going to happen. I'm going to go Page, though. I'm going to go Page decision. He's a 2-1 dog, which I think is... How many underdogs do I have? I got Hamdy. Hamdy is technically an underdog, which is interesting. Bogdan, Grad, slight favorite. Damn, I wish. Ziam, I got him as well. Terrance McKinney is a favorite. Abdul-Kareem, so that's 3. Naimov. Vinicius Oliveira, that's 4. And Michael Page, that's 5. I got a lot of underdogs on this UFC fight. I was about to say pay-per-view because it's that good. But I got Michael Page by decision. Very good fight. Very good fight. Nasruddin Imavov and Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. This is going to be one of those fights where, of course, Imavov is going out there to, in my opinion, try to wrestle. He's got to have that game plan in mind. If he wants to strike Israel Adesanya for 5 rounds, let's all just go to his comment sections on Instagram and call him an idiot. That's a horrible game plan, Imavov, if you choose to do so. Damn, I'm stuttering a lot. Can he wrestle? Can he grapple Israel Adesanya? We saw Dricus was able to, but that's because Dricus was able to overload him with volume and pressure and gas him out a little bit and then wrestle him. Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland, Jan Blachowicz. That's the last time he was out-wrestled. Alex and Sean, he was outstruck. Jan Blachowicz, bigger guy, able to just use that size and out-wrestle and out-grapple him. Imavov's a different thing where, again, he's not the bigger guy like Jan Blachowicz, able to use that to out-wrestle him. He's not going to out-cardio Israel Adesanya and make him tired and then wrestle him and get him down. Doesn't really have that ability. So how's he going to win? How's he going to win? He's not going to take down Israel Adesanya without gassing him out first or without having a significant size advantage or without being Khamzat Chimaev, but how is he going to take him down? How is he going to win this fight with the wrestling? I don't see it. I really don't see how he does it. He's not as tall, not as lengthy. He's young. He's 28 years old, on a win streak. He's able to take down Brendan Allen, but Brendan, his movement on the feet wasn't there to defend the takedown. And Israel Adesanya's movement will be there to defend the takedown. I don't see it. I don't see him defending. Or I don't see him landing the takedowns on Adesanya. I think this is going to be a style fight. If it was Caio Borralho, Caio has the threat of the takedowns and has, in my opinion, better striking than Nasruddin Imavov. I wish we were seeing Caio, Israel Adesanya. Boom, pick him right there. That's a very, very close fight. But there's a clear imbalance in this middleweight main event here, in that Imavov's wrestling path to victory is not there. I don't see the path. I could be a complete idiot and watch the fight on Saturday and just see Imavov dominate Adesanya with wrestling. I just don't see it, man. See it staying on the feet, and Adesanya doing what he does. Styling on Imavov with the counters, with the kicks at range, jabbing, moving. 49-46. I think Imavov wins a round that Adesanya is trying to download information. So round 1, round 2. One of those, Imavov. The rest, Adesanya. 49-46, unanimous decision. Has Imavov been hurt in a fight? I don't really remember a time. I've watched a lot of his fights recently. I haven't really seen him get like hurt or wobbled or anything like that. Sean was able to land some good punches, but I don't think he was like in danger of getting finished at all. I mean, he got finished by Ayadi Majdedin like freaking 9 years ago by submission, but in terms of punches, I don't really see it. I don't really see that for Israel Adesanya to go out there and knock him out. Plus, last time Adesanya was able to get a knockout, it was that opponent just teeing off on him and left his chin right out there. I know I'm disrespecting Alex Pereira a little bit there, but Imavov's not going to do that. He's going to play it technical, try to wrestle, try to grapple. He's not going to woo, because he's got Adesanya. He's not going to get Adesanya hurt. So I can't see him. I can't see Adesanya knocking out Imavov. Again, he's never been knocked out. I haven't really seen him get hurt, and Imavov's not going to submit Israel Adesanya. He's not going to knock out Israel Adesanya. Only guy who was able to do that was Pereira, barely in those later rounds. So I see this fight going all the way. I got Adesanya 49-46. That is the full card prediction for this stacked UFC fight night. Again, the Ikram Andre Muniz fight is canceled. I don't know if they'll update it. But this fight is not on the card. Only these other 12 fights. I got Adesanya by decision. I got Michael Page as an underdog by decision. I got Pavlovich by knockout in round number 2. I got Vinicius Oliveira as an underdog by a decision. I got Muhammad Naimov, round 2 TKO. I got Shamil Gaziev, 29-28 decision. I got Terrance McKinney, round 1, round 2 submission. I got Ziam as an underdog by a close 29-28 split decision. I got Jasmine, Jasudavicius by decision. I do have Bogdan, Grad by a decision. I got Hamdy Abdelwahab by a decision. And I got Abdul-Kareem, Al-Selwady by decision. Now, out of all the fights I said decision, the fights I think there's a possibility for a finish are Shamil Gaziev, not Vinicius, not Page, not Adesanya, Bogdan. Yeah, it would have to be Bogdan and Shamil Gaziev. That would have to be Hamdy. I don't really see a finish there. Abdul, it's possible, but out of the decisions I mentioned, Bogdan and Shamil had the highest likelihood of being a finish in that fight. So those are the full card predictions. Of course, like, subscribe, and of course, check that pinned comment or go down to the description of this video. So many great perks here. Again, inside scoop on fight announcements, list of the best fighters outside the UFC, and you can ask me how to watch the fights on the regional scene. We got the full UFC ranking system for every single UFC fighter. I'm talking Bogdan Grad is on the rankings. That's what I'm saying. And of course, all of my MMA bets for 30 cents a month. Crazy value for all of this for just 30 cents every single day for a month. That is amazing value. So make sure to go check that out. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one.